Hey everyone, this is Pat with Off the Maps, and today I'm testing out a 2022 Canyon Grand Canyon 7. This is actually my girlfriend's bike, but it does kind of fit me. It's a little bit smaller, but it's still close enough to my size to actually give it a good test. The Canyon Grand Canyon 7 is basically Canyon's entry-level mountain bike, but the 7 is kind of the higher tier of it. So this comes with a little bit more bells and whistles than the absolute basic one, and I believe it's about $1,300 US. So it's really a good value for a lot of the components that you get, and I'll do a walk around in a moment and show you what those components are. But really it's a good, solid, with frills mountain bike, if that makes sense. So it's not the most basic you can get, but it's the most basic good bike you can get, in my opinion, for the price. And I'll explain that reasoning in a moment. Whenever I do my testing, I try to test the bike as somebody who would buy it would test it. And so this is my girlfriend's bike. She doesn't ride a ton, so she has platform pedals there, so flats. I'm usually using clip-ins, so I've got my running shoes here just to kind of replicate what I think most people would ride a bike like this for, or use to ride a bike like this. And I'm kind of going to do a mix of everything. I've done these trails on a lot of different bikes. I've done it with a Canyon Lux Trail, a Specialized Epic Evo, a hardtail, and even a Salsa Cutthroat, which is a fully rigid bike. So I know these trails really well. I'm going to do like a mixture of cross-country, technical climbs, and little downhill courses, and see how this bike holds up. I can say that actually coming here, I've already ridden a little bit. I've had a ton of fun on this. It actually reminds me of riding bikes when I was younger. Most of the riding I did was on hardtails, kind of just like this, but this one's a little bit better with the dropper post, the 120 mil suspension, and the pretty reactive hydraulic brakes. So it's actually been a lot of fun, and it's making me wonder why I'm paying 4 times the price for my Canyon Lux Trail. So far this bike has really been great. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to test it out a little bit more. Let's walk around the bike here and take a look at what we have. So this is the 15-inch or small frame, which means that it comes with 27.5-inch wheels, which has been fun for me. I'm about 5 foot 10 inches, and it's been definitely more playful than the 29ers I'm used to riding. The smaller frame also notably comes with only 1 bottle cage, which can be a little bit frustrating for longer rides, but it is what it is. You can only fit so much there. And this bike is aluminum. I actually believe that they don't even make a Grand Canyon in carbon. The Grand Canyon 7 comes with a SRAM, I think an SX Eagle group set, at least for the drivetrain. I believe they mix matched it though, and these shifters are actually Shimano. And I've actually enjoyed these, and I think they're actually good for people who don't ride too often, because they're a bit forgiving. They're not as snappy as some other brakes can be, and they don't kind of, jerk when you press them too hard. So actually I think that can be a benefit on this bike. The bike also comes with a 120 mil RockShox Judy, which is a pretty good cross-country fork, and it even has a remote lockout there. And then we also have a remote dropper and an iridium dropper post. Now, I'd really like to point this out, because I think a lot of people would look at this differently. So this has a dropper post and a remote lockout for the fork, which I think a lot of people would say, hey, I'm just getting into mountain biking. I don't really need a dropper post. I'm just getting started. And I'm starting to think of this the other way around, where actually the dropper post for somebody who's starting out is even more important, so that they can kind of get used to doing more difficult stuff. So, getting behind the seat post is a skill for hardtail riders without dropper posts that kind of comes later. And I think it's important to learn, but for somebody who's just dabbling in mountain biking, I think having that dropper post will actually make their ride a lot more fun, especially if they're doing any kind of technical trails. On a similar thought, I also believe that the remote lockout for the front fork can be useful. This is probably going to get used on a lot of rail trails and stuff like that, where you don't really need the front suspension. So being able to have the remote lockout is also useful. The first riding test I want to do is actually on pavement. I think a lot of people will use this bike just on pavement, or as a commuter, or just on trails or paved paths near their house, and then just kind of dabble in the trails. So I am noticing that there is a bit of play on the fork if I kind of put down on it, but again, you've got that remote lockout there, and it's solid as a rock afterward with no play. I will say the bike does eventually spin out. It does seem geared a bit low, but that's probably a good thing. Again, entry-level bike. We're not looking to go super fast. We're just looking to have fun. Next up here is just a bit of gravel that kind of descends into like a little forest path. That's like a bit windy, single track, so it's a little bit of a cross-country test, but very easy stuff. But again, I'm just checking this out. I'm feeling that suspension pump, but I think that's largely because this isn't set for my weight. Feeling all good. Yeah, and I am already spun out here, so I can't go any faster than this. That's about it. We can check the speed after. Get that post back up and do some pedaling. Feeling good. Fun bike. A little bit more technical cross-country stuff here. All good. I did make the tubeless. I did make the tires tubeless, which is important to point out. So I can run a little bit lower pressure here. And both the tires, I think, and the rims come tubeless ready. Although I think I taped them, so that might have to be done. All right. Feeling good. Oh, I miss hardtails and climbing efficiency. When it's smooth like this, at least. Yeah, that felt great. The next section of trail that I'm going to do here is going to be pushing this bike a little bit to the limits. It's just kind of technical stuff. Probably more than most people would do on this on this bike. So we'll see how it runs through there and see if it makes sense that I paid all this other money for the more advanced bikes I have when I could have been riding my girlfriend's bike for 1/4 the price all along. And it's a bit smaller and I feel really comfortable on it. I haven't ridden this in probably 4 months and it feels fine so far. So we'll see. The one thing that this doesn't test is kind of like chattery, faster downhill stuff. And I imagine that that could actually be a problem. I'm going to start here. Just a little bit of easy technical stuff, and I knew the bike would be fine here. So no questions. All good. It picks up responsively like a hardtail should. And then we've got a little bit of a drop here. Let me drop that post down and see how this feels. That's totally fine. Even with that little Rock Fox Judy, can handle that stuff no problem. I didn't even feel it, to be honest. And the nice 27.5 tires feel good through this windy stuff. Whew, that felt okay. And some grip on the side of a rock here. Yeah, this is totally fine. This bike will be, I think, good for anybody that gets it. And some more rocks. Yeah, no problem. Back to some single track here where it's a bit tighter. Good on the roots. Rock here. Yeah, this is, I actually really like this bike. Oh, oh, oh. And now a technical downhill, which I'm a little bit feeling sketched out about on this bike because I'm not used to it, but conditions seem all right. And I've got flat tires or flat pedals in case I need to bail. All good, all good. Pop, all right, no problem. Gets a bit slippery here. And these brakes, actually the modulation's been really helpful for this. Now we're sliding down a cliff face. Good. Little shock is handling all this. One more nasty little drop. Don't go over the bars here. All good. And then one little bit to end it here. A little bit more slippery. Whew. Good job, Grand Canyon. You got it. So, in conclusion and overall, I really like this bike. I had a ton of fun. Despite having some full suspension carbon fiber bikes, this bike did great on some of these trails, even the more rugged stuff. I would definitely recommend it, really for anybody. If it's a good bike, you know, hands down. It doesn't have to be entry level. It was actually a lot of fun to ride a hardtail again, especially with a bit smaller wheels. And yeah, that's it. Good job, Canyon. You made a well-spec'd bike. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, please like and subscribe. I really like doing these kind of low-key backyard reviews, because at the end of the day, that's what most of us are doing. Just kind of low-key backyard trails and stuff. And I think seeing the bikes in a habitat like that is really the best. So thanks, and until the next one. Do I want to do this? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Oh. Hey, not so bad. Hey, I survived. Little bike did it. This is a little bit slippery. Why do I have a full suspension when I could have had this for half the price, quarter the price?